Today marks the completion of 10 years and 10 sessions that I have served in this chamber with you. A few months after I first sat down in these seats, we were summoned to the House chamber for the State of the State address, and some of you remember that Governor Dayton became lightheaded and collapsed that night. I was light on my feet in those days, and I got up to the dais in time to catch him and help him to the ground. What you maybe don't know is that while he was laying there and I was leaning over him, I said, "Governor Dayton, is this a bad time to talk about funding for Robert Street bonding projects?" We could not have known in those days that we would serve in such challenging times. We sat in these chambers wearing masks beginning in 2020, terrified of a new virus that was sweeping the world and waved over our state in March. Initially, we had no treatments or vaccines. We served here with significant personal peril. We legislated through a statewide shutdown of businesses and transportation. We served together during a complete shutdown of the state capitol later in that same year. After the killing of George Floyd and the civil unrest that followed, we walked through an empty capitol devoid of lobbyists or constituents and surrounded by high fencing and military security vehicles. Our footsteps echoed, and we were deeply alone. Our deliberations during that time were not smooth. In fact, they were among the most embittered and hostile exchanges that I recall. We were living through intense and stressful times, and our labors reflected that. But here's what I also remember. Our Senate decorum prevailed. Our relationship suffered strain and then repaired. Our respect for each other remained, and in some cases even grew, and our state emerged, and our institutions continued. All of us have different views on the measures we adopted during those years, but we have left this Senate, this legislature, and the stability of this state as our legacy. Future generations will share with ours the same mix of wisdom and foolishness, pride and humility, humor and seriousness in their peoples. We will bequeath to them the years we have spent here, and they will carry the torch through challenging times of their own. When they study the times we have been through, I think they will find exceptional lights in the work of Senators Dietzick and Speaker Hortman, but also of so many other senators who have taught me by the example of their dignified behavior and for whom I am deeply, deeply grateful for mentorship. I think of Senator Jim Abler, Senator Julie Rosen, Senator Ann Rest, Senator Lindsey Port, Senator Rich Draheim, Senator Ron Latz, Senator Aaron Murphy, Senator Jeffrey Hayden, Senator Melissa Wickland, Senator Mark Johnson, Senator Zainab Mohammed, Senator Jordan Rasmussen, Senator Scott Dibble, Senator Gary Dames, and my two closest friends, Senator Nick Frentz and Senator Steve Swadzinski, among many others. Our work here is the most centered and powerful when it emerges after listening to and sitting down with the people we represent. A memory that I will always carry with me is an 8-year-old boy named Andy who had lost his leg and wanted a prosthetic blade so that he could run. The insurance company was not helping him, and together we wrote a bill requiring them to do so. Andy came to our committee and read a statement he had written with his story, and the bill passed out of committee and became a law, and now Andy runs. This is our best work. And yes, we have traditions and rules in the Senate that can seem pedantic or fussy. Face forward, wear a jacket, address the president, don't attack personalities or impugn motives. But those rules create the force and culture behind this essential work, demonstrating to Minnesotans that we can disagree and still come together to discuss, that we can argue and still share respect, that democracy carries us to a higher place where we oppose each other on ideas while carrying brotherhood and sisterhood in our hearts, that we are here to do a job. It comes with expectations, and it requires all of us together to achieve results. That force and that ideal is the hope for our state and our nation to endure. I am leaving you in this higher body, and I may find myself next year in a less civilized setting. But I'm inspired by my time with you during this decade, and I will endeavor to bring that spirit to my future work, whatever it may be. I want to close by thanking Bill Lunzer and Ellie Thibodeau-Lissick and Tyler Klein. And thank you to my wife, Christine, my children, Sophie, Anna, M, Hayden, and Bowden, my daughter-in-law, Sophia, and my grandson, James. They have spent long spring evenings alone while I was here and waited for me with hugs when I got home. There will be many more such hugs going forward. Thank you, members.